Humans are not always great at self-moderation, especially when things seem both bountiful and tasty. While extinctions are always multifaceted, the extermination of some species can be almost directly linked to the insatiable appetites of modern humans. You will discover a few of the animals that we have lost, due to our unthinking exploitation. Here are 6 animals we human ate into extinction. Number 6 is Dodo, also known as Rufus cucullatus. Dead as a dodo, yep, you nailed it. These flightless, ground-nesting birds were once bountiful on the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. Larger than turkeys, dodos weighed about 23 kilograms, about 50 pounds, and had blue-gray plumage, and a large head. With no natural predators, the birds were unfazed by the Portuguese sailors that discovered them around 1507. These and subsequent sailors quickly decimated the dodo population, as an easy source of fresh meat for their voyages. The later introduction of monkeys, pigs, and rats to the island proved catastrophic to the languishing birds as the mammals feasted on their vulnerable eggs. The last dodo was killed in 1681. Sadly, very few scientific descriptions or museum specimens that exist. Number 5 is Steller's sea cow, also known as Hydrodamnus gigas. Discovered in 1741 by German naturalist Georg W. Steller, Steller's sea cows once inhabited the nearshore areas of the Commander Islands in the Bering Sea. Much larger than present-day manatees and dugongs, Steller's sea cows reached a length of 9–10 meters, over 30 feet, and weighed around 10 metric tons, 22,000 pounds. These massive, docile animals floated at the surface of the coastal waters but unfortunately had little ability to submerge. This made them easy targets for the harpoons of Russian seal hunters, who prized them as a source of meat on long sea journeys. Killing was often wasteful, and the species was exterminated by 1768, less than 30 years after it was first discovered. No preserved specimens exist today. Number 4 is the passenger pigeon, also known as Ectopus migratorius. Once famed for its massive migratory flocks that would darken the sky for days, the passenger pigeon was hunted to extinction in the early 1900s. Billions of these gregarious birds once inhabited eastern North America, and were similar in appearance to the mourning dove. As American settlers pressed westward, passenger pigeons were slaughtered by the million yearly for their meat, and shipped by railway for sale in the city markets. Hunters often raided their nesting grounds and annihilated entire colonies in a single breeding season. From 1870 the decline of the species became precipitous, and some unsuccessful attempts were made to breed the birds in captivity. The last known passenger pigeon, named Martha, died on September 1, 1914, in the Cincinnati Zoo in Ohio. Number 3 is the Eurasian Aurochs. One of the ancestors of modern cattle, the Eurasian Aurochs was a large, wild ox that once ranged across the steppes of Europe, Siberia, and Central Asia. Standing 1.8 meters 6 feet high at the shoulder with substantial forward curving horns, Eurasian aurochs were known for their aggressive temperaments and were battled for sport in ancient Roman arenas. As a game animal, Eurasian aurochs were hunted excessively and gradually became locally extinct in many areas throughout their range. By the 13th century, populations had declined so much that the right to hunt them was restricted to nobles and royal households in Eastern Europe. In 1564, gamekeepers recorded only 38 animals in a royal survey, and the last known Eurasian aurochs, a female, died in Poland in 1627 from natural causes. Number 2 is the great auk, also known as Pinguinus impennis. The great auk was a flightless seabird that bred in colonies on rocky islands in the North Atlantic, namely St. Kilda, the Faroe Island, Iceland, and Funk Island off Newfoundland. The birds were approximately 75 centimeters 30 inches long and had short wings which were used for underwater swimming. Utterly defenseless, great auks were killed by rapacious hunters for food and bait, particularly during the early 1800s. Enormous numbers were captured by sailors, who often drove the birds up planks and slaughtered them on their way into the hold of a vessel. The last known specimens were killed in June 1844 at Elde Island, Iceland, for a museum collection. Number 1 is the woolly mammoth, also known as Mammothus primigenius. Thanks to a number of well-preserved and frozen carcasses in Siberia, the woolly mammoth is the best known of all mammoth species. These massive animals died out around 7,500 years ago, after the end of the last ice age. While climate change definitely played a significant role in their extinction, recent studies suggest that humans may have also been a driving force in their demise, or at least the final cause. Extensive hunting and the stresses of a warming climate are a lethal combination, and it seems even the mighty mammoth could not withstand the human appetite in a changing world.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.